Hey.
I'm going to shut this thing down because this makes so much noise.
Okay, mic should be on.
Mic is on. They'll all tell you in a few minutes.
I'm sure they will.
So what's the matter with the puppy in the kitchen?
Yeah, it's like the first 5 questions are the same thing.
Oh, really?
They don't miss a trick.
Oh, I thought I'd give you a running start.
Yeah. Somebody want to let me know if the mic's on? Okay, sound is on. Okay, good. All right, so we have Grumman up here, who we were watching down at the barn today because he vomited earlier in the day. And he vomited a couple more times, so we brought him up to the house, which we commonly do when we have a puppy that we're either monitoring or want to keep a closer eye on. So that's why he's up here. It appears that he may have eaten some pine needles or grass or something and has an upset stomach.
And a
So
washcloth, didn't he?
piece of cloth, small piece of cloth, yeah. It could.
Well, where's the bigger piece of cloth? Is it still in there?
No. Well, no. That's why I say I would be much happier if I could see him go to the bathroom. But his stomach doesn't feel hard. It doesn't hurt when I push on it. Some of you saw me with the stethoscope. I was basically listening to his lungs. So basically, we're just monitoring him overnight, where we have an overnight person here that can have eyes on the puppy. We have less to worry about. If something does go wrong, we're right here.
Throwing up is not unusual around
No.
here.
Throwing up is not unusual, and diarrhea is not that unusual either.
That's true. The combination of the two, you begin to worry about dehydration, but just one end is not a big deal so far.
Okay, so I hope that answers about grooming. Yeah, I remember that Megan wanted lots of questions, and I hope that I can repay her in many ways. I watched last night because I had a feeling I was being set up. WS from Texas. Thank you for the service, Steve. You're a proud mom of an Army Green Beret. Ooh-ah. I was in the Army as well. Okay. Okay, I bring my 8-year-old mini Aussie to work every day. What can I do as she charges, mouth open, anyone who comes near my desk? That's something you should work on before you bring them to work.
Mouth open?
Yeah, mouth open. But you know, when people say mouth open, I don't know exactly what they're trying to tell me. Is that the nice way of saying the dog is getting ready to bite, or is that
Getting
just
ready to bite, I would think.
or is it just the mouth is open? I mean, Danes are known for.
Oh, is the Great Dane doing it?
No, this is a mini Aussie, so it's a whole different breed.
But they bite quicker.
Yes. But again, put the dog in the down stay, and I can't emphasize this enough. No matter what we talk about in training, set your rules, stick to them, be consistent, and don't let them cross the line. That's all these questions about, running towards people coming to the door or getting up when people come around. You've got to set your dog up for failure, and when they get out of line, you've got to be able to correct them. That's why I say it's easier to do that when you're at home. Set yourself up, have somebody walk in, make sure that dog stays in the downstay, and don't let that dog up until it's time to get up. Now, don't keep them there for 2 days, but, common sense comes into factor here. And then once the dog does good, you need to praise the dog and let them know that that's the right thing to do. You do that 5 or 6 straight times, it doesn't take long for the dog to figure out what's right and what's wrong. But then you have to consistently stay with it. Problem people get into is they have rules for the kitchen, they have rules for the living room, they have rules for here, outside, in the car, and you want to talk about confusing a dog. Training is all about consistency and having rules set. If you can get that part of it down, most of your worries are going to go away. You can jump in, Carlene, and help.
What?
I,
What?
I said you can always jump in and give me some more advice.
Oh, I was sleeping.
That's why it's so important when you are dealing with puppies, which is why these dogs, in my opinion, are the better dogs that are trained out there for bigger breeds like this, is because they start them at very young ages, learning what the rules are and what they're not. When you watch us feeding down there, and I know you all send me emails all the time about seeing my fingers go up. Fingers go up so that I can get that dog's attention and let them know, wait. And if you watch them, even the ones that are having a rough time of dealing with it, they know. And they will back off and they'll wait. And they wait for me to either say, okay, or drop my finger down like that, usually both, so that they know. When they can do it and they're that young, they can do all kinds of things as they get older. The beginning, first 6 months of a dog's training is the most important.
They have to learn to learn.
That's right.
They respond
Once
well.
they learn to learn, you're set.
Yeah.
They respond well to us, other people here, when we put our fingers up now too.
Yeah.
It gets their attention.
We've all been put to shame by that woman down in Florida who has her Great Dane pulling her socks off and handing them to her. That is just, I mean, that just makes me feel terrible.
Darn Zena
Zena.
showing us something.
Okay.
Well, I think she's educating those people about what a Dane can do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go in the other room and get my shoes, and the dog does. Give me a break.
She said without
Give me a break.
redesigning.
Incoming calls, okay. And the other thing on that, seems I don't have another question lined right up,
I'll get it. Service dog
is
project.
that, now I remember what I was going to tell you. Along with the consistency,
Hold on just a sec, yeah, go
make
ahead.
sure that if you get to a point when you're training a dog to do a specific task, one task at a time, that if you get to the point where the dog looks confused or it's not consistent over a period of time or a number of steps,
Not the owner.
back up to the point where the dog is comfortable and consistent in following instructions, and then approach it again slowly. You may just be going too fast for the dog to understand
okay,
what's
yeah.
going on. So I always pull them back, like Vu, Leslie. I pull them back to the comfortable zone, and I come back into it again.
Who we got around with ears? Would you? Yeah. Go ahead. They want to film something about George and Bella here. Go in the other room. Go in the other room.
You may decide to go into training as a job. What made you decide to go into training handling dogs as a job? I really didn't have a choice in the matter. The U.S. Army told me what I was going to do, and that's what I did. And then when I got into police work, the police didn't take very long to figure out that I'd handled dogs before, so they automatically stuck me with a police canine. And then after about a year working here, I slowly started at the bottom, feeding and digging dog food out of the barrel, and worked my way up.
Speaking of that,
I was setting you up to say that.
has anybody dug to the bottom of the barrels lately, and are they emptied on a regular?
There's a sign right on there that says empty all the way, do not refill.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are
Checking.
rotating stock.
There you got it.
When you take puppies out, do you go alone? Do you take one pup at a time inside and leave the rest in the car? I'm going to give you the correct answer here. I take one dog by myself, go to a place or two places, depending on or three places, depending on which dog I have, and what I think that they need the most right now to catch up or to maintain their training level. We do not leave unattended dogs in the cars. You know, you just can't do that in the heat, the cold, and we don't want our dogs taken anyway, so no. Tearing up the car, that's another thing that you need to set them up for failure. There have been a few times that Megan and I have had an issue with a dog that likes to chew in the car, and either I or her will ride in the back seat and wait for that dog to make that mistake. That's what we call setting up for failure. You have to see it, then you have to correct it. And you can't correct it if you're driving down the road and the dog's chewing on a seat, because by the time you stop and get out and go to discipline that dog, too much time has evolved, and the dog doesn't know what he's getting in trouble for. You've got to be there within 2 seconds of making that correction. That's another huge mistake people make. Dog goes to the bathroom on the kitchen floor when you get home from work. If you're disciplining that dog for going to the bathroom 2 hours ago, you're confusing that dog. That dog does not know why you're disciplining him. Within reason. I mean, I'm sure it knows that it did it wrong, but you have to be right on top of these corrections, or you're not getting the full extent of them. I need to take a trip to Florida so you can learn how to teach the dogs to take off their hat. I'll leave those type of things to Carlene.
Oh dear.
This is very good. I've said this before. I realize I've only been doing this a couple of weeks, but somebody just brought up the comment of training stuff could be applied to children. Oh, yes, it can. And when I show applicants or recipients how to continue the training when they go, I try to tell them, I usually look at a dog, a year and a half old when it comes out of here, as a pre-teenage dog that is apt to get in trouble, shouldn't get in trouble, will get in trouble, needs to be corrected. So if you train them like children, you'll have a lot better understanding of it.
Well, depending on how you train your children. A lot of people offer me their children.
Yeah, well, we'd have to open up another farm for that, and I don't want to be hired for that one. Okay, I got 1 second. One more question, then I got to let Carlene get it to her things.
What did you find out?
Okay, all right, I'll try to do this in a matter of 1 minute. Teaching a dog to turn left and right. I always use the word left or right for every time that I help the dog make that turn. Eventually, they will learn left means go this way, and right means go this way. What I do is when I'm making a left-hand turn, my experience has always been, always train them to go left first. The reason being it's easier to teach them to go left, and I'll show you why. When you're walking a dog and he's on your left-hand side, when you tell them that you're going to take a left turn, left, or name left, use your leg and just push it to that side a little bit and guide your leash that way. You keep practicing it like that, it won't be long, and when you say left, that dog will automatically start that left-hand turn. On the right-hand side, you can't really push the dog a little bit or guide him over because the dog's on the outside of you. So what you need to do is chaos right, and then kind of drag your pressure on your leash to the right. But once you get him to where you're going, you need to go back to neutral zone with the leash. Always go back to neutral on the leash so the dog isn't just being roboted around. Practice it a few times and I think you'll see what I mean.
Eventually the dog, when you say left, the very first reaction will be just the head will turn. And that's when you have to take advantage of that right there.
Yeah.
The minute that head goes left, go.
Yeah. Go with it.
Walk into the wall.
Yeah, go with it. Regardless, go with it because you've already got that major step underway. Oh, okay. Okay. Carlene, you are on. Save the rest of these questions for tomorrow. I'm here for the next 2 days, so. The one, I don't have enough time to do this right now, but remind me tomorrow about dogs jumping on you, and then we'll stop seeing that question so much.